My name's Scott Staunton, and I am happy to have with me Dave Blake, Vice President, Operations and Engineering, JDC Phosphate. Dave has 23 years in mining-related operations in borax, diamonds, iron ore, and phosphate. He has held high-level executive positions in charge of multiple operations internationally, with budgets of up to $3 billion annually and 6,000 total employees. He has developed a business improvement model and implemented it over 6 years across 7 iron ore mines to improve performance and operational stability. Dave, thanks for joining me to talk about the benefits to executives in developing and sustaining a performance culture.
Thanks, Scott.
You've had a lot of experience delivering operational and financial results for some major mining operations. What are some of the key elements in developing and sustaining performance culture?
Well, of those 23 years, as you know, I've been largely doing nothing but implementing continuous improvement.
Yeah.
And based on all those years of experience and including a lot of mistakes along the way, there are many things that need to be done, in my view, to sustain all the important gains of something like a lean manufacturing improvement effort or a Six Sigma or a total reliability center-based maintenance effort. You have to have certain things in place, in my view, to have those long-term effective as well as continually improve. One thing that I've noticed over many years is you have to make sure that there's shop floor to top floor alignment. So what does that mean? So your top of the company, your CEOs and chief operating officers and whatnot, their strategy and their metrics have to be aligned with actual work on the floor and everything in between. Okay. So there has to be clear linkages to what work is being done to the actual strategy. So that has to be aligned. Otherwise, there's disconnects and problems with continuity and the sustainability. Along those same lines, I think another important key aspect or maybe a failure mode is not having the right person performing the right work at the right level. So what does that mean? So the roles and accountabilities of all the tiers of management, all the way from the shop floor all the way through, are not clearly defined. The accountabilities, especially as it relates to the new improvement effort, aren't clear. And so you have confusion. You might have people reverting back to their old methods, old ways, right, because they're not clear on their new role or accountability as it relates to improvement. And then you lose that sustainability just by the very fact that people really don't understand their continual role. An interesting part, or an interesting thing that we started implementing at Cliffs was a thing called Stratified Systems by Elliot Jocks. He did a lot of work on these type of systems, making sure the right people are performing the right work at the right level. And I encourage everyone to at least apply some of those techniques to make sure that their organizational structure supports the improvement structure. Another key aspect that I see as a pitfall potentially of sustainability are the systems aren't completely aligned. And what do I mean by that are, for instance, the accounting systems. They don't change their metrics to align with the new metrics that are being developed through the improvement efforts. So you got to make sure, the top management team has to make sure that the systems across the organization are completely aligned. Yes. And the metrics are aligned, because sometimes, old habits are hard to break. Sometimes some of these systems don't change, and they don't support necessarily the new goals or the new metrics that have been so hard to work for during the implementation of the improvement. Mm-hmm. So that's an important one. Along with that same line is that consistent messaging that comes across when all the systems are perfectly aligned. So the consistent messaging and language. So as your support groups, as your service groups across your organization, they're able to talk the same talk, have the same message, have the same related metrics that support the operational improvements that have been so hard fought. The other one that I see that's highly related to the management structure is meetings.
Yes.
We use meetings. Management uses meetings to get information, to review the data, to see how we're doing overall as an organization.
Mm-hmm.
I believe one of the pitfalls, if we don't necessarily change those meeting structures to ask the right questions and align those meetings to ask the right questions about the performance metrics that have been set up, then over time, managers are going to be asking the wrong questions, looking at the wrong data, getting the wrong information, and those systems that have been put in place to support improvement, may start falling apart. So again, the stratified systems by Elliott Jaques, clearly defines that, but that's a pitfall. If a manager is asking questions that two layers under him should be asking, right. Then you start compressing the organization. Mm-hmm. Top managers need to be worried about what systems are being in place to support the improvement, and not necessarily worried about the day-to-day execution.
Okay.
As managers worry about the systems that support the day-to-day execution, then you have that sustainability that's ongoing and continual.
Makes good common sense.
The other one that's a couple ones. I'll finish with two that I think that are very important is adequate resourcing.
Okay.
So managers have a tendency to put a lot of resources early on in the implementation. As consultants, mm-hmm. or the improvement effort gets kicked off, we throw a lot of resources on it, but during the implementation of sustainability, we have a tendency to pull back those resources and put them back on their day jobs.
Right.
And I think managers have to make sure that there's adequate resources to keep that momentum going, to keep those improvement efforts going, whether it's Six Sigma, a lean, a reliability-centered maintenance program. You have to have the key resources available, and then you have to backfill as necessary, so you're not having your same people, because eventually you get burnt out and something will fall in between. And the last and but not least is just leadership patience. As leaders, we like to see results pretty quick. We like to report results monthly, as well as go out publicly, sometimes quarterly. And if we're not seeing those immediate instant results from just spending a lot of money and effort and resources on an improvement effort, then we lose patience and want to do something else. Well, I encourage all managers, if you truly believe in this improvement effort, to stick with it. It's going to take some time to make sure the culture is correct. You have the right people working at the right level. Your underlying management systems are completely aligned. That takes time, especially in large organizations that have multiple sites trying to do the same thing. So be patient. If you change midstream and don't allow some of these things to occur, then the engagement starts to wander. And going to my first point, with lack of engagement, really produces lack of culture you need.
So
those are the elements I think are highly important, and these are all about putting in the requisite systems to sustain the improvement versus just focusing on the improvement itself.
I view culture is a set of collective behaviors throughout an organization, with systems in place that drive these behaviors, and poor systems, poor execution, poor discipline, and accountability drive poor organizational behaviors. When done correctly, organizations can benefit dramatically in improved operational, financial, and behavioral outcomes. In your experience, how well have mining operations executed sustainable performance cultures?
Well, just going back from my experience and looking at what I've seen in the past, managers have a tendency to focus on the implementation of the improvement only. We spend a lot of time, effort, money on the upfront implementation. And then we have a tendency to say, okay, we did it, everything should fall in place in the work. So I think we should put equal time planning, resources, and an effort after the fact on those sustaining systems, and such as I mentioned before, the right meeting structure, the right organizational structure, the right alignment across organizational systems. If you don't put the time, thought, and effort into those systems, that's what kind of creeps in terms of the not being able to sustain. And so I think management has not done a good job with that. Okay. I think we've done a good job on recognizing that we need to improve, and then we've done a good job in recognizing some of the improvement efforts, such as going to a reliability centered maintenance program, or to a lean manufacturing program or Six Sigma. Those are all very important tools to be added into the overall improvement culture.
Okay.
So I think management has to spend more time, or at least equal time, on the sustaining systems to make the improvement stick, as well as continually improve as the effort unveils.
Well, Dave, in your view, what should be the key operational, financial, and behavioral improvements that come out of implementing a 3 to 5 year initiative like you had the opportunity to do?
Well, obviously, you're going to see the benefits. Some of the bottom line benefits are going to start to come out, and they typically manifest in terms of your costs. Your maintenance costs might go down. Your throughput metrics might go up. Availability may increase, and these are all extremely important bottom line metrics that you would want your improvement effort to focus on. What I've seen, though, when a properly executed culture of improvement, you'll definitely see your safety systems, your safety records. People will be safe on a regular basis. Your environmental systems and the requisite improvement to the environmental and sustainability of your operations will improve. You'll start seeing improved morale of employees as you engage employees and they have the right roles, accountabilities, proper alignment with all the metrics. People will want to come to work and do a good job.
Yes.
If you don't have that, then you're going to see the employee morale. You're going to start losing key employees. They're going to want to go to other organizations. So a soft metric like a morale or turnover, you're going to see improvement in that as well.
Okay.
So I would expect that you should start seeing all these auxiliary metrics that you might take for granted, or you think that you're just going to maintain status quo. They're going to get better with the improvement culture as well. The other one that I want to mention that I think you'll see benefits at the top level is predictability.
Yes.
Predictability is more of a long-term result of having these improvement systems get you the results on a regular, sustained basis. So as you're planning a 3 to 5 year capital forecast, a 3 to 5 year operating and throughput or sales forecast, if the top management has that predictable operating day-to-day results, they could better forecast.
Yes.
They could better, maybe go out on a limb and increase sales. They could go after markets that they might not be able to go after because they have a predictable quality product. All of these things manifest over time, and being predictable adds value to the organization. As external people look in, if you're consistently hitting results in all those key areas that I mentioned earlier, that adds a premium to that company. And I think that result sometimes is overlooked, but you should see that. Management should see that as an added benefit over the long haul of an improvement effort.
Well, Dave, thanks for sharing your insights and joining in the discussion for the importance in developing a sustaining performance culture.
Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it, and look forward to the next discussion.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.